Here we are in NSORRA round 2 at Mill Hill in 2025 season. Got a decent launch there. Hussy there on the left of me, and hard to say, he was getting a little hungry there if they made contact, but nothing catastrophic happened, so here we are. I'm sitting in third place coming into the first woods section here. It's a little muddy in this area. We're running the Intermediate A again this year. The first round of the season was in Cape Breton. Had a mechanical issue per se, and poured and my throttle ended up seizing. So I had DNF in the first round, but just kind of came into this round, just no expectations. I was like, as long as the bike holds together and I don't die, that's really my goal at the end of the day. So I knew I needed to get a decent launch just to get up at the front of the pack. I knew my pace was okay, but I see bumped into a tree there, and well, I couldn't get around him. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go through the bushes here, and was able to get a so-called pass on that, but I knew if I didn't try to push in those situations to get around someone, that we'd just continue to get bottlenecked, and it just would make for more issues down the road. So the track this year, they added a few new sections in it, a little more technical, which was entertaining and enjoyable for me. Conditions on the track this year were really good. Hardly any mud at all, and the traction was good, so it made for a really good race. Here I thought the trail went to the right, but apparently I was wrong, and
oh, sorry, bud.
Hussy decided to take the inside and bumped the bars a little bit there, but nothing major, just good fun. So I knew he wasn't going to be far behind me once I did get by him, so I knew I needed to stay consistent and smooth and not make any major mistakes, because I knew he wasn't going to be letting up. I knew he was hungry to win too, so a little awkward section there, coming up the roots, a little rough, but ended up running a gummy compound on the rear. Really probably didn't need that, but didn't seem to hinder anything, so it's kind of one of those things. I run certain tires, I get used to how they feel, so I just end up just leaving them as is, and might not be the best performing in the higher speed sections and the loose stuff, but just get used to the way something handles and performs, and you just kind of know that it's not going to be great at everything, but it's predictable and I know what to expect, so didn't want to make a lot of changes coming into this race. Here I am, just kind of trying to remain calm and smooth and trying to conserve energy. So this race it's a 2-hour race. I knew probably it would run a little longer unless I timed it perfectly, that I came across the line with like 10 minutes left, but suspected that wouldn't be the case. But just trying to stay close to Hussy here. He ended up winning the Intermediate B last year, and he had a really strong season. And I knew he was hungry to do well again this year, so I'm like, well, if I can stay up front in the... Really, I was looking for a kind of like a top 10 start would be ideal, but anything better than that I knew it would just help in the end, so... Some loose roots there in that section. They're kind of off-cambered and made for a little traction issue. We kind of got offline here. We kind of went to the left there by accident. This is the first time I've been through some of these sections, so I wasn't really ready to know what to anticipate. I always find that my first lap out, I'm always a little slower and just... I like to do like a bit of a sighting lap, but I know that's not an efficient way to do well in races, so trying to push that comfort zone a little bit more than I usually do on the first lap, instead of sitting back and coasting more. And it's kind of a different mindset. It's rough coming down in there. I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's quite washboardy there. Didn't realize there was tires here, but anyway, luckily didn't really cause an issue, and threw a few little obstacles in to switch it up a little bit. Suspension I've got set up a little bit different this year, with some settings, and still kind of fine-tuning a few things. Actually, before this race, I think the last time I rode it, I did do some slight adjustments, and I think it was an improvement, and so kind of getting it dialed in a little bit more, running the K-Tech spring conversion in the front and then the rear bladder kit, both with the K-Tech valving, revalving, and bike's working really good. It's an older carbureted TX300. It's an 18. I think at this race, I think I rolled 400 hours on it, so no spring chicken, but it still works really good. It's probably the best it's ever been set up. I got hit with some roost there. I remember I was chewing on dirt for a little bit there. Luckily I had the hands free there, so I was trying to spit some water out. It's got a little crunchy for a bit. In this motocross track, I'm awful at motocross, but anyway, I'm just following the leader. I see Hussey went a little wide, so I stayed up high, and well, Griffin ripped her on the inside, and he just held her, and so he went from third, I guess fourth to second, so sitting in fourth there now. So that was the first lap completed there, and got that one under the belt. I knew I needed to kind of keep close to the next guy. I knew the pace was going to pick up, and once the guys all got their sighting lap in, I knew it would progressively become more competitive. So I guess there was this small section between the start finish and where we actually shot into the woods there, but nothing super technical here. But can get a little bit of speed through here, and it was getting rough as the day went on, so it kind of got a little violent, so I was trying to use a taller gear just to settle the bike down a bit. But yeah, Griffin must have ate his Wheaties there this morning, because he once he got by us on the motocross track, we didn't see him for the rest of the race. So coming back here in the first section, there's a little bit of mud here, and you can see Hussey hit a root there, and it bucked him sideways hard, and it caught me the first lap pretty good, and I knew whatever was going on in there just must have been off camber enough that it just unsettled the bike a lot. This section kind of was just damp enough that the roots and rocks were making things a little more slick than the other sections. I gave him a little bit of a rev. I didn't know what was going to happen, but he let me go by, and now I'm sitting in third place. Don't know if I actually knew if I was in third place at this point in time, but I kind of got into a zone at this race that I wasn't really observant of what was going on. But this new section they added this year, it was up along a creek bed, and looks like somebody was down there for a while. Must have fell and got hurt, but it doesn't look complicated or bad on camera, just a little rough, a little uphill and off camber, but it did pose a bit of issue for some people. And lost the rear end there, and bumped the tree, stalled it again. And my starter started free spinning, and I knew Hussey wasn't far behind me, so I'm like, I need to get going. So anyway, luckily I got it running again, and he didn't get by me, so I must have picked up a little bit of time in that new section. So I caught up to the guy in front of me, and wasn't entirely sure if that was the guy in front at the time, but looking back and seeing what happened, I can confirm that's where I am right now. And so I gained a bit of course on him and was able to kind of reel him back in a bit, coming into that new section again, and got a little offline there, but just knew I needed to stay calm and smooth on the clutch and throttle. And some people getting stuck there, use any names for their own well-being, but made a pass there on someone that was in maybe the expert class. But so I was starting to get a little confused on who was in which class at this point. So started following this 4-stroke for a while. Was fairly confident he wasn't in Intermediate A, so I just kind of thought if I could hang with him for a while and not let anybody behind me, that I might not be sitting in too bad of a spot. I was optimistic at this point, but there's a wet spot there, but it held up really good that day. It stayed nice and tacky and didn't rut out at all, hardly. So clipped the tree there, but luckily it was just a braze. So tried a different line around that route that I was kind of deflecting off of in the first lap or so, and might not have been the shortest line, but it did cause a little less issue for me. I came down through here and my foot peg caught a root and it stopped me. Anyway, got the bike running again and just kind of all jacked up at this point, but just trying to get my mouth rinsed out. I got a little bit of dirt in it. So I was just, nobody got by me when I went down. Didn't spend a lot of time messing around getting back up, so I was like, as long as I didn't hurt myself. I did notice I tweaked my left hand probably when I went over the bars, just with the bark busters there. My hand probably caught it. Wasn't bad enough at this point to warrant to stop and look, so I just kept riding. So. Luckily, I was able to bob there at the last minute and took the left line and got by two guys there. They were in a different class, but I'm not sure about the guy on the left that I just went by. So at this point, I was starting to get a little confused who was who. I knew there was a Sherco somewhere that was ahead of me. Once again, coming into that new section. Guy stuck there in the middle, and then other buddy went to the right and got fetched up, but luckily I took a different line as those two and was able to get through without too much issue. The next lap around, I stalled it. Last lap must have not had a lot of activity, so I'm just trying to keep the video a little shorter, so anywhere there's nobody around, I'm trying to cut sections out. But a couple guys there doing some spinning, and there's just enough room to squeeze between a bike and a tree, and lost all my momentum, but was able to pick my way through without struggling too much or having to pick up the bike or push. So I knew the key to doing well was just keeping smooth and not messing up. So anyway, coming into the tail end of the race here, getting into some other lap traffic here in another class. Intermediate A runs with expert and plus 50, so I think there's around 40-ish bikes on track. So not very good at the motocross stuff, but just at this point I'm just trying to not go too slow, but not to crash. But anyway, I thought I'd try to get on the gas. I took the outside line there and was able to get around them. It was a little bit dusty here, so if possible, if I could have stayed in the front, it's always helpful for visibility. But coming into the last corner here before start finish, she's getting loose and people probably a little tired. He spun out the rear there, and here we go. I ended up actually in second place, and it was a really good result for me. Griffin was about 36 seconds ahead of me, so I was happy with the end of the results there on that race. Bike stayed together, I stayed together. Bike's getting dialed in a little bit. It does need a new piston. It's got 200 hours on the piston, so she's getting a little tired. So I do have a new piston. Shout out to Triple S Cycle Works in Chester for hooking me up with the piston kit. So, and this is my buddy Nick.
How did I do? Okay.
I think you got second.
Oh, really?
He advised me I did get the second, so. But I apparently lost my beak with my transponder at some point, so luckily they were
have it anymore, do I?
manually calculated my time. So kudos to the NSORRA team that puts these events on and makes this happen for us. We do appreciate it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video.